Am I the asshole here for telling a woman at the gym that she's embarrassing herself? I go to the gym a lot. About 6-ish months ago, I noticed a woman I'll call Andrea. That's not her name, but it will be for the rest of this post. I don't know if Andrea started going to the gym 6 months ago, or if that's just when I noticed her. Full disclosure, I spoke to her first, but I had no way of knowing what the result would be. A lot of the machines at this gym have little entertainment systems attached to them that can access local channels. I go on a treadmill, and I realize the TV on the treadmill wasn't working. Andrea was walking past, and I said, "Hey, do you know if there's an issue with the cable? This TV isn't working, but I don't know if it's just this one or all of them." She said the same thing happened to her on a different machine. I thanked her, and that was the whole interaction. A week later, she asked me for some electrolyte powder for her water. I said I didn't have any. She was cool with that and asked me how long I'd been coming to the gym and what I did for work. I answered and returned her questions. She said that she was new to the area and worked in private security. We had a few more chill conversations after that. 6 weeks ago, she asked me out. For reasons I won't get into here, I wasn't interested. I declined. She said not to worry about things being awkward at the gym if we don't work out. I said that wasn't the issue, I'm just not looking to date right now. She kept talking to me, and at first I kept talking to her, but I started to think that something might be wrong, and I started avoiding her. 2 weeks ago, she walked up to me while I was on a machine with only one way to properly dismount that involved stepping into where she was standing. She asked if I was avoiding her. I said I was, and apologized. I said I just don't want to date right now. She said I don't have to avoid her to not date her. I said okay. I kept avoiding her though. Tonight while I was working out, she confronted me again about avoiding her. I had a bad day and told her to leave me alone. She asked why I'm being such a prick, and I said because I wanted her to leave me alone. I then said that she was embarrassing herself and needs to stop. She put her foot on top of the weights, and I thought she was going to press down on them. So I let go of the bar very quickly, causing the weights to slam and make a loud noise. Several people looked over. She said, "Now who's embarrassing himself?" and walked away. Did I go too far by saying that? And do I owe her an apology? In the comments, Trundlesploot says, "The minute her foot went onto those weights, it became really important to report this shit. I'm sorry you stumbled across a gym stalker. So did I a few years ago, and it chased me out of the gym entirely." Really, when she confronted OP about avoiding her, and OP confirmed they were, in fact, avoiding her, then she showed up again. Well, the stalking is more subjective. OP has indicated that he isn't taking it seriously. I agree with you that that is a mistake, but the gym management may well not take it seriously either. But the foot on the weights was immediate threat of physical harm and is something very solid that gym will need to act on, because if she gets that idea in her head again, someone is going to be seriously harmed on their property. Is OP a man? Now reverse the roles. What if OP was stalking a woman? Dear gym management, this woman asked me out and I refused. She has been following me around and making my life miserable when I come to the gym. Last time she stepped on my weights, and I let go because I was afraid. 1. Put it in writing. 2. Written trial, evidence. 3. If she escalates or tries to put you in a position of blame, there is evidence that she is the problem. I don't know why men don't take threats from women seriously. Like, for real, you all need to choose the bear. Something I didn't mention originally, I'm a woman married to a man with loads of male relatives, including sons. The world isn't safe for both men and women, although it's dangerous in different ways. The warnings and teachings I give my daughters are different from those I give my sons, but everyone has to be careful. Well, except for one, never leave your drink unattended. And, well, a second, always share your ride details with someone, particularly at night. Corpse in the Making says, not the arsehole. She needs to learn to accept rejection and move on. Now she's intentionally targeting you and cornering you. Definitely report her, just so there's a paper trail of her behavior. Sadly, at the gym, you might have to employ this standoffish mindset. It sucks, but it deters people from trying to romance you when you just want to work out. A woman that's new to the area, works in private security, and has stalker tendencies? Report, report, report. Yeah, to me it doesn't sound like OP is taking this as seriously as he should. He's being like, did I go too far by saying that? Do I owe her an apology? Brother, come on! Open your eyes! She is stalking you. She is harassing you. She's not leaving you alone. She has escalated her behavior. That is an abuser right there. That is a dangerous person that you're dealing with. Just because she's a woman, who cares? She needs to learn how to take no for an answer. She obviously doesn't respect you. She's obsessed with you to the point that she's more than happy to put you in physical harm and constantly threaten you. Report her to gym management for everything she's done, get that crazy psychopath banned from the gym, and get a police report done on her. She's gonna escalate and put you in danger. How are you ignoring this so much? Like, please stop. You didn't go too far by saying that, and you don't owe her an apology. You owe her a restraining order. And now, on to the update. I went in early this morning for a run, and I told the front desk staff about Andrea putting her foot on the weights. They said they would talk to her, and then after work, I went in again for a regular workout. I was working on my legs when she walked up to my machine. The first thing she did was apologize about the weights. I don't know if someone talked to her or if that was of her own initiative. I accepted her apology and apologized for saying that she was embarrassing herself. She said she forgave me, but if I wanted to really make it up to her, I could buy her a drink and she would buy me one too to make up for the weights. I said maybe we should buy our own drinks, meaning separately at different places and times, and she misunderstood me and asked when and where. I told her I meant that I didn't want to go out with her. She said this wouldn't be a date, but a reset for our friendship. I said I didn't want to be friends. She said that I was being a douche and asked what my problem is. I said the weight incident made me uncomfortable and I would rather us just give each other space. She then asked me if my problem with her is that she's Hispanic. I was so taken aback, I didn't even know that she was until she said that. I said no, that she just makes me uncomfortable, and she wanted me to explain what about her made me uncomfortable. And I tried to do so, but she argued with every point I made. I got frustrated and told her to just stay away from me. She said fine, and that I have a lot of maturing to do, and then she walked away. I'm hoping that's the end of it. And now, on to the latest update. Andrea is banned from the gym. I was running on the treadmill and watching TV. She came up to me to talk to me, and I ignored her, staring at the TV. She raised her voice, and I continued to ignore her. She then reached out and pulled the safety tab out of the treadmill, the one you connect to your wrist so the treadmill stops if you fall, causing the treadmill to come to a sudden stop. I tripped and fell onto the controls and TV, scratching my chin on top of the screen. I then went to the front desk with Andrea following me. I told them what she did, and she kept trying to interrupt me and talk over me, but the woman at the front desk told her to be quiet and wait her turn. I told her that Andrea pulled out the safety tab while I was running and that she injured me. The woman at the front desk then asked Andrea what happened. Andrea said that I was staring into the middle distance, like I was in some kind of fugue state, and she thought that I was having a medical episode, so she pulled the tab. Ah, of course, the old Walter White I was in a fugue state excuse. The woman at the front desk asked for her membership card, and Andrea didn't want to give it to her, but the woman at the front desk said that if she didn't, she would ban her. Andrea gave her the card, and the woman at the front desk said to leave, and she was suspended for a month. Andrea objected and got into an argument with the woman at the front desk that escalated into Andrea calling the woman an N-word B-word, so she was banned permanently. I hesitate to call that a happy ending because the poor gym employee had to put up with racial harassment, but I won't deny, getting to watch her cut up Andrea's membership card felt pretty good. In the comments, Comfortable Focus says, "Still not the arsehole. Andrea proved herself to be crazy with a side of racist." OP replies, "And the irony is that she accused me of being racist for not wanting to date her." OP, please be wary in case she follows you home. Watch that she doesn't just turn up in places that you frequent. This She sounds unhinged, and now she's a scorned and angry woman. Yikes. I'm glad that she's banned, but she should have been perma-banned when she injured you. A 1-month ban for injuring another patron is stupidly lax. The next time she injures someone, the gym will be liable for allowing a dangerous moron on the property. Especially when it wasn't the first instance of her interfering with equipment that another member, like OP, was using. She put her foot on the weight stack of the machine that I was using, causing me to let go of the bar really quickly and slam the weights. If you see her again and she acts creepy, it's worthy of reporting to the police. Just pay attention to your surroundings in case she stalks you. OP says she's banned from the gym, so I doubt that I'll see her again. She doesn't know where I work or live. I'm guessing she doesn't get told no very often. I'm glad this had a safe ending. And OP says, thank you. I am too. Now that it's all over, I'm starting to process it. The whole thing was so crazy. My heart rate is up higher than it ever gets when I run, which is nuts. Look, it's OP's life to live, absolutely, but I still don't get why they're not reporting this to the police when everyone is begging them to please protect yourself. I feel like we're watching the start of a true crime episode right here. It's like, this young man came to Reddit asking about this woman that was stalking him at the gym. But unfortunately, he refused to take their advice, and he just kept ignoring it until she stalked him. And when she was stalking him, he came back to Reddit, asking what he should do about it, but he still refused to take this to the police. And tragically, this ended with the young man sleeping with the fishes. A cautionary tale to all others. Again, I don't agree with the way that he's handling the situation. She works in private security, for Christ's sake. She told you that she is a threat. Why do you not take that seriously? Please. My skin is crawling. But hey, you know what? Your funeral, OP. If that's what happens, that's what happens. Good luck. And thank you for the story. Our next post is by user Acceptable Bison, and it's titled, My boyfriend of 7 years wants to take a 1-year-long break. OP is 27, the boyfriend is 28. Hi. I'm sorry for my spelling, as English is not my first language. Me and my boyfriend have been together since we were 20 years old, and for the most part, our relationship was pretty good. We can communicate pretty well our wants and needs, so it's been a very healthy relationship. A couple of days ago, I noticed that something was bothering him, and I asked. He said he doesn't feel as good as he used to. He's not okay with where he is now in his life. He doesn't like his job, his economics, his just entire life, basically. The only thing he said is good in his life is me, and that doesn't make him feel fulfilled. Oh, now tell me how you really feel, but... We've been talking non-stop these past few days. We have also cried too much. In the beginning, I was scared because I didn't want the relationship to end, but the more we talk, the more I feel I don't deserve this situation. I know it's not a me problem, it is him, his life, his goals. I cannot think for him. I can't be happy for him. I'm exhausted. At the end of every conversation, he ends up telling me that even though he wants to discover himself, the only thing he's sure is that he doesn't want to live without me. But then the next morning he wakes up confused with what he wants again. He came up with this idea of a 1-year-long break so he can find himself and then come back to me. A gap year from the relationship. Hell, what a good idea. This can literally never end badly. I honestly think that's awful, and I told him that I love him so much, and probably in a year I will still love him the same, but that I don't deserve that. I won't be sitting with my arms folded just waiting. I'll probably resent him a lot, so that won't work for me. If he stays, and commits to working things out in therapy. If he leaves, then it's done. He said the most important thing for him is my happiness, and that I deserve a concrete answer on what his choice will be. He wants time to think about it, like a month. But now I'm asking myself, what do I want? Honestly, him pulling this stunt destroyed somehow a little of my trust in him, so I don't know if I should leave either way. In the comments, Poor Correlation says, I just don't get the logic. Everything's wrong in his life except you, so he wants to throw you out the window too? Tons of people improve their job, finances, and quality of life while they're in a relationship. It can even be helpful to have a significant other for support during so much change. Why does he see you as a barrier to a happy life rather than an enabler? OP replies, he thinks that in order to be better, he has to be a better person by himself, to overcome his difficulties alone, because in his words, I will just do everything for him. I hooked up his current job, I make the most money in the house, I manage the finances in order for us to stay afloat. I'm the one who has friends. He doesn't have any. So he feels like he's dragging me down all the time because of him feeling depressed all the time. Go for Yourself Too says, he doesn't want to take a year off, he wants to break up, but he can't bring himself to jump off the cliff. And OP says, I said this to him last night. Maybe he's too afraid to pull the trigger, so maybe I should do it for him. Ethereal Spear says, are you sure he's not having an affair? This back and forth torture that he's putting you through just screams affair. I guess there's a lot of ways that this could be going, but at the same time, it just does feel like an affair, does it not? Like, the logic is just not logicking. How can you say, you're the only good thing in my life right now, everything else sucks, so I need to stay away from you for a year? That's just a punch to the jaw. That's not even a punch to the gut. That's just like, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me, so I need to get rid of you. I hate you. I don't want to be with you right now. You sicken me. I'm bringing back the brain tumor defense, guys. He's got a brain tumor. We got to do a CT scan. We got to find what's going on in there. We got to bring him on a gaycation to Ibiza. I don't care if I said that wrong. Sue me. And we got to start an art room. Something to bring logic back to this guy's brain. And no, I will not drag Connor and Jack into this. Don't ask me to bring those two into this, you goddamn buffoons. Anyway, back to reality. I don't think this is going to end well. I don't think they should take a year off. I think OP should fight that. But to me, this also reads like an instant deal breaker. If your boyfriend of 7 years says, I need to take a year off, are you going to be okay in that relationship if you deny that and continue as if nothing happened? That feels like a break in trust. I don't think I can trust this person because they wanted to leave me. Is that my insecurity talking? Am I projecting? Like, I feel like I'm not crazy in this instance. If my partner said they wanted a year off, I'm like, well, that's the end of the relationship, I guess, but I'm not in OP's shoes, so I don't know how to act. I would want to give them a chance to work on the relationship, but I can see how that would just be instant breakup territory. And now, onto the updates. So I just logged into this account that I forgot about, and I saw some people asking for an update. It's safe to say that my life did a 180-degree flip. Long story short, we broke up. Now, if you guys want to know what happened, get comfy. All the people who said he was cheating on me were right, but I didn't realize up until June, 4 months after my first post. We had a long and hard discussion after he said that he wanted to leave. We both cried a lot because of that. A month later, it was all said and done, we were going to break up and he was going to move to a place near his workplace, like 1.5 hours from the city. I said that I loved him, and he asked me if he came back sooner or later, would I take him back with open arms? And I said, maybe, but I wasn't sure. I helped him pack his stuff and he left. That day, I felt my world was crashing down. I cried my eyes out for like a week, and then something suddenly snapped, and I was sick of the self-pity, so I started to build my life back up again. 3 weeks later, he moved, and he texted me that he made a mistake and that he wanted to come back. I said that I didn't want that, so the answer was no. The next morning, he texted me again saying he lost the place that he was staying in and that he really needed to come back, that he didn't have anyone to provide him shelter, so I took him in. He stayed for a couple of weeks and told me that he wanted to work on the relationship, but I was very resentful of him and everything. We talked, I treated him poorly, but then internally I regretted it because I didn't want to be an awful person, I just wanted to be in peace. After a month, I told him that he couldn't live with me anymore and that he needed to move out of my place, and so he did a month later. We lived together for a total of 2 months. After he left, I started to go out more and meet new people. I got a couple of hookups with some guys and all started to look bright again. One day I bumped into his boss and started chatting with him, and he told me that he was glad that I was better and that he found it weird that my ex would want to date a coworker of his, that he advised him against it, but he did it anyways. That set off an alarm bell for me. Coincidentally, the very next day, I was at a party and bumped into a mutual friend, but more his friend than mine, and engaged in conversation for hours. Later, when we were both drunk, he let it slide that he knew that my ex was cheating on me since November of last year. Now with those details, I called a third person, a friend of him from college that wasn't on speaking terms with my friend since January, and asked why they had that fallout. He told me he didn't want to indulge on cheating, and that is why they argued. I kept that information to myself. A week later, my ex called me to talk about a debt that he has to pay me back, and I told him that I knew what happened, and he denied it all. A month goes by, and my company sent me to the north of the country to work for 1.5 months. During that period, my ex called me once a week to cry about how much he missed me, and about how his life was a mess without me. I didn't reply or answer, but I couldn't block him since he owes me a lot of money. I came back to my state and started exclusively seeing one guy that was originally a hookup, but feelings started to come out. My ex found out and started to panic again. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that the girl that he cheated on me with is now his official girlfriend. So I've told him that if he keeps on calling and texting me, I would tell that girl that he's saying he doesn't want to be with her and her kids. So now I feel happy. Happier than I was before, and I didn't realize it. In the comments, quote, he told me he didn't want to indulge on cheating, and that's why they argued. Couldn't be bothered to tell you, though, apparently. What an asshole. Quote, so I told him that if he keeps on calling or texting me, I would tell that girl he's saying he doesn't want to be with her and her kids. If you don't do this anyway, you are also an asshole. Don't help this guy cheat. OP replies, I thought about that too. About telling that girl that she was the one that he cheated on me with, and she knew we were in a relationship. Also, if I tell her, that's just inviting the drama into my life again. But you have a point. I'm going to think about it. Yeah, tell her and block them both. You'd never see the money again anyway, and you deserve peace. He will always be trying to get back with you. RidgeGirl29 says, maybe this is just me, but it feels like whenever someone wants to take a break in a relationship, it usually spells disaster for one reason or another. You can absolutely change your life while still dating someone. People do it all the time. Again, it goes back to the old saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. He knew the potential consequences of taking a break, and now he's sad he wasn't on the right side of things. Boo-hoo. That's how life works. Honestly, I personally don't believe in breaks. If the relationship needs a break, then it's probably better to just break up. Quote, saying he lost the place that he was staying and he really needed to come back, that he didn't have anyone to provide him shelter, so I took him in. This is so often the way with these types of posts. They're not coming back because they actually want to be with OP, but because they want something or to benefit from the person instead. Absolutely right. He went to see if the grass was greener on the other side and realized it wasn't, and he needs his shelter back. The little hobosexual that he is. Guys, can we please stop entertaining hobosexuals in 2025? It's about time that we just let them be homeless, if that is what their little heart desires, because they can't keep having their cake and eating it too. We gotta put a stop to it, please. Thank you for the story, OP. I'm glad that you stood your ground on this one and came to your senses. The relationship was over the minute that he asked for a break, because he has no brain and no morals and was cheating on you the whole time. Who would have thought? So thank you for the story. Keep him away and look forward to your own happiness. Thank you. Our next post is by a throwaway account, and it's titled, My 27 male, fiancé, 29 female, was accused by her friend/maid of honor, 29 female, of stepping out on me. My fiancé claims that she's trying to sabotage our relationship. I'm lost and questioning everything. How do I move forward? So my relationship with my fiancé has kinda blown up. I've never felt this unsure in our relationship. I'm in need of outside perspectives. For context, we're college sweethearts. For orientation, I was touring campus and she was my group's tour guide. That's how we met. She was my first love and my best friend. Now we're in the height of wedding planning. About a couple of years ago, we had a rough patch with her shutting down and pushing me away. She wanted to take a break so she could find herself again. I don't believe in breaks. I wanted to work through it together, but her mind was made, so I agreed. We established boundaries for the break. We wouldn't see other people, and we were to have checkups about where we were emotionally. The goal was to reinforce our foundation. The break was only a month. We bounced back stronger, but it is still a sore spot. The break was the most distant we'd ever been, and the experience highlighted why I'm against it. Recently, my fiancé had a bad falling out with a mutual friend/maid of honor who I'll call Joss for clarity. Some nasty stuff was said, and Joss accused my fiancé of being a bridezilla and an even worse friend. I hoped the rift between them would mend because they were close for a long time. They were like sisters. But my fiancé kicked Joss out of the wedding and uninvited her. The damage seemed to be done for both. The other day, Joss reached out to me and said that my fiancé wasn't being completely truthful. She revealed that not only did my fiancé see other guys during the break, but also hooked up with someone on their annual girls' trip. She gave the guy's name, but I don't know who he is. On the trip, my fiancé's group linked up with another that they clicked with. Joss said that it was clear the guy had an eye for my fiancé, and eventually she and he began wandering off. My fiancé ignored Joss's attempts at talking her down. It was a lot to take in. My initial instinct was to shut Joss down. Up until this point, I trusted my fiancé fully, but I couldn't overlook how much Joss's account matched my doubts from back then. Like I said, we were the most distant during our break. It wasn't on my part. There were times that she was AWOL on our checkups. During the girls' trip that fell on our break, she went radio silent in a way that she wasn't on previous trips. There was truth to linking up with another group because my fiancé told me about it. She's still casually in touch with some of them. Right after the trip, she was gung-ho on calling off the break, how it was a mistake, and that she was in a better headspace. Joss claimed that this was part of their falling out. She was pushing my fiancé to come clean with me before the wedding. She felt I deserved to know and wished that she would have said something sooner. I didn't say much. I was too numb to really feel anything. I initially didn't confront my fiancé. I was trying to process, but she could tell something was wrong and kept asking. When I did confront her, she was a whirlwind of emotions. She mostly ranted about Joss, but I told her that this was her chance to tell her own story. She asked if I would hear her out. I promised I would. She confessed to seeing other guys during the break, but claims that nothing happened. She also denies ever hooking up with anyone on the trip. I asked her why Joss would tell the truth about her seeing other guys, which alone thoroughly broke our boundaries, but make up an elaborate lie about her cheating on the trip. She insists that Joss is trying to sabotage our relationship. She said the other guys meant nothing and that I'm the one that she was in love with. It was like she wanted me to be grateful for choosing me. She promised to do anything to regain my trust. She said we're starting our lives together and I shouldn't let Joss come between us. I wasn't very receptive to her. We fought, and I told her that I needed to think. Ever since, she's been pouring on so much affection. She still swears that she never hooked up with anyone on the girls' trip and that Joss is trying to sabotage us. But I can't shake the possibility that Joss is telling the truth. All of this is blown up while we were in the middle of wedding planning. Invites already delivered, venue booked, catering being arranged, suits, dresses, everything. I feel so numb. I'm in love with my fiancé. She's my best friend. It feels wrong to doubt her, but I'm questioning everything, even myself. I don't know what to believe anymore. I feel like an idiot. How do I move forward for myself and for my relationship? In the comments, Fluffcat says, quote, "We established boundaries for the break. We wouldn't see other people." That's all you need to know. You established a boundary, she broke it. Whether she actually slept with someone or not, you need to decide if you can forgive that she's lied to you for years. Essentially, she withheld information in order to get back together with you and did not give you all the facts so that you could make an informed decision of whether or not that was something that you wanted to do. I'm afraid she'll eventually tell the truth that she did sleep with someone else, but it will be months after the wedding when your choices have a more serious impact. I was prepared to call out the friend for being jealous, but after reading it all, I think she's telling the truth. I think your fiancé is trickling out the truth to you. She's only telling you what she thinks you will forgive. She's lied and then realized that she had to tell you a little bit. She's been lying since you got back together. Contact the other women that went on the trip and ask them as well. Check her phone for the messages between the group at that time and get tested. OP says, I'm considering reaching out to the other women. I don't know how open they'll be about it. I get along with them, but they're more of my fiancé's friends, and they've largely stayed out of the falling out. Not a Bear 87 says, having been the Joss for friends myself, meet up with Joss and have her get a friend/your fiancé on speaker, someone that knows. Hear it for yourself. She was going to keep the seeing other guys part secret forever. I think Joss is telling the truth and that your fiancé is full of shit. I agree with that, and I think that's a very good suggestion, because if the fiancé doesn't know that OP is there, the fiancé will be very much open to saying whatever is on her mind and whatever she is hiding from OP. If she wants to obfuscate and keep details from OP all her life, OP can keep that detail that he is present for the phone call away from her as well, and that will give OP the perspective they need to cut this off and make a clean break. Because I don't think that Joss is making this up. It seems all too convenient that the fiancé just kept disappearing and that Joss is some master manipulator in this situation. I really do think the fiancé just slept with someone while they were on break and now regrets it and doesn't want it to ever come out. So good luck to that relationship. And now on to the update. Thank you to everyone who reached out. It helped give me much needed perspective. I wanted to give an update. So I wanted a fuller picture before making a decision on anything with my fiancé. I knew her friends and bridesmaids would be a lost cause. I get along with them, but they're more of the fiancé's friends, and their group runs deep. They weren't going to talk at the expense of my fiancé. I asked Joss for more information and for evidence to her claims about my fiancé hooking up with someone on their girls' trip. She said that my fiancé avoided talking about that particular trip, especially over text. Most of their arguments were in person, but she showed me texts from shortly after the trip when my fiancé confirmed hooking up with the guy. She texted how it's in her rearview mirror and she doesn't need a lecture about the past. She's focusing on the future. I knew the possibility, and my fiancé already confessed to seeing other guys during our break, but I don't know. Seeing those texts made it real in a way that it wasn't before. In the texts, she expressed regret, but it didn't make me feel better. I confronted my fiancé, and I knew immediately by the look on her face. She came clean on everything. She thought Joss deleted the texts. Around the break, we were having serious talks about marriage. She started worrying that she was missing out on stuff her single friends were engaging in. During that break, she sought validation from other guys and fooled around with that guy on the girls' trip. In her own words, she had a temporary high when he chased her, but felt worse about herself post-hookup. She claims the break showed her what was important and that she wasn't missing out on anything. She was reassured that we were right for each other. I hardly said anything to her. I mostly just listened. I was too numb for much else. She kept asking me to say something, but what was there for me to say? I felt that her actions spoke enough for us both. She kept apologizing for stepping out. When I asked her why she wasn't upfront with me, she said she didn't want to lose me over her biggest mistake. Her position that Joss isn't being noble has not changed. I told her Joss's motive doesn't matter, the truth is the truth. She asked if I could find it in myself to move past this. She said she loves me and she's fully committed. I couldn't tell her what she wanted. I said that it was best the wedding be put off, and I needed space to sort out my feelings. She was against postponing and proclaimed that didn't have to define us, and she's still the same woman that I wanted to marry. She asked me not to give up on us. But the same way her mind was made about the break, my mind was made on postponing. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't so much a fight, more putting everything out there. She cried a lot. She rarely cries. It felt wrong to leave her crying. My first instinct was to comfort her, but I was too broken to fake it. I've been hurt before, but she hurt me in a way that only she could. I know postponing the wedding is for the best. The reason why I didn't call it off entirely is because I'm way too much in my emotions right now. Hurt, anger, sadness, and somehow numbness. At all possible, I try to avoid making decisions lost in emotion. I need to clear my head. I was so sure of my course and of our relationship. My fiancée was my partner in every sense. She was who I wanted to make a life with. Sometimes she would act so superior about our relationship compared to those of her friends. I feel so stupid. She says she's still the same person I love, but the fact is she had a secret life that I knew nothing about. I'm trying my best to understand that, but I'm at a complete loss. I'm not sure if I can move past this. All the guests have been informed of the postponement. Some questioned why, but I've been vague. I'm just too embarrassed. I feel bad for the guests too. Some with limited means already booked flights and hotels and took time off work for our wedding. That's how far we were in the home stretch. In some ways, it doesn't feel like my life. We were just together, wedding planning and discussing the honeymoon. The honeymoon was a surprise destination for her, someplace that she had always wanted to visit. Now we're here. I don't know where to go or what the future holds. Thanks to everyone again for the support. It means a lot. In the comments, Don't139 says, "She's the same person in her eyes, but not in yours, because you didn't know she was capable of treating you this way. Her stepping out when you were on a break is one thing. It may have been possible to overcome it, but her lying and gaslighting you is recent and is who she is. You cannot trust her to tell you the truth if she thinks a lie would serve her more. That's the kind of person she is, and has proven to be at least twice in this situation. 100% this. Hooking up with a guy on break, even when she promised not to, is one thing, but then continuing to lie about it as she plans a wedding with you and plans to lock you down for the rest of your life is messed up. End of story. Let her go, bro. The success rate of the average marriage is pitiful as it is, and starting off with this much deception and drama and baggage is not likely to end well. Add to that, if you go through with this, whenever you look back on your actual wedding day, it'll be a source of anger for you because you'll think about all of your poor family and friends that had to reschedule and potentially pay for extra flights and hotels. And they will all eventually realize why the wedding had to be rescheduled, and you will look at your lying wife and picture her blowing some dude on vacation. Ew. I wish more people pointed out the fact that she thought Joss deleted the messages. I feel like more had happened. Well, that's the problem with liars. Even if they eventually tell the truth, you can never trust them again. We don't realize how fragile trust is until we have to build it back up again. Yeah, that actually was really weird to me. What do you mean she thought Joss deleted the messages? Bro, the continued lying and obfuscation is mind-boggling. How can you expect to marry someone and genuinely trust them if you pull something like this right before the wedding, or just pull something like this in general? The timing of this makes it 10 times worse for me. I don't know what she was thinking, like, OP's a sucker? OP is just going to ignore the blatant disrespect for him and the relationship right in front of his face? No, that's not someone you should marry. That's not a good idea. Don't even postpone the wedding, like, just break it off at this point. This is too many red flags to commit to a future partnership with. This person is not healthy for you. This is not a good person to marry. Of course, I empathize for OP. That's a tough position to have to tell everyone, look, you've planned for this event. It is a very special event for me. It's hard to say we're postponing it and come again later. I really do feel like the easier thing is to say, you know what? Don't worry about it. It's not happening anymore. I don't want to put you guys through this. As much as it is to say it is easier to do that, because it is not an easy thing to do, continuing the relationship and postponing the wedding seems to be the harder thing for me to contend with mentally. I don't think I'd be able to do that. It would break me. Thank you for the story, OP. I wish you nothing but the best in the future. Good luck. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.